So more recently on AEW, we've seen Jon Moxley coming out to the ring, kind of saying that this isn't people's company anymore, and we've seen developments since then with Marina Shafir joining him, with the turn on Bryan Danielson at All Out, and Pac and Claudio joining him as well. In this video, I kind of want to talk about why I think this is happening, and kind of some people that could join this group later on in the future, or just in general, just like pretty much bring people in that can kind of help develop the story into what kind of seems like a takeover of AEW. So, I'm Leo, this is the Wrestling Retrospective, and let's talk about Jon Moxley's new group. So this all started when Jon Moxley came out the Dynamite After All In, like literally from the get-go, and said to Tony Schiavone that he wanted a conversation with Darby Allin, and also that it wasn't his company anymore. Later on in that night, we saw Marina Shafir kind of join him, attacking some security guards. And since then, there's kind of been a lot of questions about what this actually is. And since then, we've seen the likes of Pac and Claudio kind of join on with this group, where Utah's kind of been left out in the more confusing side of things because of the Trios Championships. For that, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I can kind of see why this is happening. You know, over the last few months, probably maybe since just after Forbidden Door, the Blackpool Combat Club haven't exactly been what they were. I probably say actually even before Forbidden Door that was the case. You know, Danielson's been doing stuff on his own. You know, he hasn't been wearing any kind of BCC gear, hasn't really been with them as a group. You know, he was on the team for Team AEW. Since then we've had, you know, Wheeler Yuta was out injured for a while, and then when he did come back, he lost the Pure Championship for Ring of Honor. Claudio and him have since won gold, but with Pac, which at the time seemed very random because Pac has had more issues than not with the Blackpool Combat Club, especially with Claudio Castagnoli. And then obviously Moxley has gone away, concentrated more on New Japan and winning the IWGP World Championship, which was great. I don't think he got the run that I think he was hoping for, or I think that I expected anyway. But then, yeah, I mean, like, you could say, well, he's just doing what Danielson's doing. But again, he would still come back into AEW and kind of have that Blackpool Combat Club representation about him. Also, he probably just agreed that, like, he wanted to do something that he'd been hoping to do since he kind of left WWE, which was win the IWGP World Championship. So this whole turn kind of makes sense to me. In one way, what I didn't expect was Claudio and Pac to kind of join along with him. There probably was the hint there with it being Pac that they chose to team up with, that would be the case. But for me, I feel like, you know, the Blackpool Combat Club was supposed to be one of the most dominant teams in AEW, and it just kind of hasn't gone that way. They feuded with the Elite at first, which was a really good feud and one I very much enjoyed. But as I said, probably this past year, it has just not been great. They kind of not concentrated more on what they were supposed to be when Regal first brought them in and stuff like that. And like, they wanted to bring more members in and they didn't. It was just Yuta and that was it. And I suppose Claudio, but I think they meant like bringing people in the same way Yuta came in, where they kind of earned their way in. And yeah, I mean, like, they've been a good team and a dominant team, but I feel like the run is over, as I just can't see Moxley using the Blackpool Combat Club moniker, as, you know, he hasn't been. Like, it's not a case of like the turn was done and then they came out as the Blackpool Combat Club. They've just been, they kind of don't have a name at the minute. If they ever will have a name, they might just be a group of people. But I also want to talk about people that I thought might fit this group really well and kind of why that would be. For the first one, I have Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe would fit really well here. I know that he has his issues with Chris Jericho that he'll probably first come back and deal with, and then, you know, I worry that he'll kind of get lost in the shuffle a bit, you know, after being world champion. Then the Jericho stuff was kind of a big step down, in my opinion, from where he was at. And now, hopefully, or at least for myself, I would have him join this group, as Joe is known for being a complete killing machine, and he would fit this quite well. And, you know, Joe as a face is very good, but as a heel, he's so much better, in my opinion. And yeah, I just feel like as they fit into this group, if they want to be dominant and take over everything, I feel like he would kind of fit that mold really, really well. Another person I've got is Eddie Kingston. You know, Eddie Kingston, he will fight anybody if he given the chance. He also is a very good friend with Jon Moxley. And yeah, I feel like the anti-establishment kind of thing kind of works for him like really well as a kind of, you know, he has beef with the Elite as it is. I assume that this kind of group will at some point go head to head with the Elite over like taking over the company and all that kind of stuff. And Eddie Kingston already has that beef because he has an issue with Jack Perry, has an issue with Okada, and he has issues with the Bucks. So that kind of makes sense to do that upon his return. For me as well, the kind of, I know it's like only really Marina Shafir and Moxley, but the kind of real fighters thing they're going for is something I really like, and I feel like someone who would fit that really well is Bobby Lashley. Now I know there's been reports recently that the Hurt Business might be coming to AEW, but if that wasn't the case, you know, Bobby Lashley would fit right in with this group, and I feel like it would be a more serious take on him compared to what he was doing in WWE. I know that he was kind of a world champion a few years ago, but more recently obviously dropped off and then he left the company, which kind of makes sense in my opinion. But for me, you know, I feel like this would be like a good piece of fresh air for him, something to sink his teeth into as far as being part of a dominant faction taking over a company. I thought it would be really cool for him. I also wanted to get in another woman. I thought that the fact that they brought in Marina Shafir was really, really smart. I know in like interviews and podcasts, Jon Moxley has taught the highest of praises of Marina Shafir, and it is about time that Marina started being taken more seriously, just because of like, you know, the problem promo and that she did with Nyla Rose, and that kind of squandered her for a while, and she was doing stuff for Ring of Honor. But I think this is like something that will like kickstart her career to like to a different level that we've seen before. But someone I thought would fit really well is Serena Deeb. I thought that the professor gimmick and kind of being also, we know she's a coach, so we can help any new members of the group, but also you've got the case of like, well, she knows what she's doing, and I feel like she's got that good experience to good wrestler ratio that kind of would work really well in this group. Like Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli would fit her quite well. So yeah, I think, you know, at the minute, and also when it comes to this group, there is rumours that Shane McMahon might be behind this, and I genuinely hope not. Like, this is something I really, really don't want in AEW is Shane McMahon. I feel like that would be a really bad move, and I feel like the internet would explode if that happened. But then, you know, I kind of get it to a point as well. Like, it makes sense that he would be behind this, and he's kind of wanting to take the company from Tony Khan because he's a McMahon and all this kind of stuff. And with Grand Slam only around the corner, it would not shock me that with Grand Slam being on the same day the Vince McMahon documentary comes out, that they have Shane make his debut on the day that his father's documentary comes out, and he gets absolutely ridiculed by the internet. So yeah, I feel like one thing I will say though is that this group is something I am very much looking forward to. I think it's a great choice to have Moxley be more serious, but as a heel as well. Jon Moxley as a heel, I feel like is probably better than a face. I enjoy him either way, but I feel like this is going to be more violent and just something that is kind of my kind of thing. Violence and all that kind of stuff is straight down my alley. And yeah, I said I look forward to where this is going. I don't think they're going to make a big group as big as what I'm suggesting, but it would be really cool if they did. And I said I feel like the people I've chosen here would be great fits with this group. But yeah, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. If there's someone I haven't chosen you think would be a good fit for Moxley's new group, what you think they're going to be called, because I have no idea. And yeah, just if you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.